Leviatán scratch and clawed their way, but gosh darn it, they did it. We're going to map 3, and that was quite the matchup that we just saw there. Honestly, the fact that it was so back and forth, I don't even think that a team won an offensive round for like 8 rounds straight.
It shifted twice.
It shifted then to all offensive rounds. Like, what? Make sense of it for me, Mimi.
I can't. I simply cannot. I mean, games like that is just where you see the most ridiculous stuff come out. It's where it comes down to one little individual play to end out an overtime round. But it is Leviatán just barely squeaking by.
Yeah, it's like you get into these scrappy moments. That timeline can't even fit on the screen. You get into so many scrappy moments where both teams are just throwing whatever they can at the others, and there's a bunch of hero plays, and then you shift it in the middle of overtime because you want to go back to that structure. You want to go back to what actually worked in regulation. And honestly, I think both sides did a great job adapting to each other throughout, I mean, however many overtimes that was, like 6 overtimes.
I think the stat on the screen that sticks with me is that Leviatán had 10 more first kills than Furia, but it was still 20-18. Furia was winning so many ridiculous rounds throughout this game, but rewinding even earlier into this one, it was some big plays by Leviatán on their attack side to get them back in. A side that has consistently been really strong for them, but it was really, I think, the defense for a lot of these teams to close things out once we got to OT, and that is the perfect record in America's maintained for LEV on this map.
Yeah, 6-0, I mean, is crazy. And then the even crazier thing to me is that they've been in 3 overtimes now. They've won all of them, and on the flip side, Furia is struggling consistently in these overtimes. Now, in the last 4 matches, it's been 3 overtime losses, and that comes back to what I was talking about the 2-0 or the 2-round losses in close series and 2-1 series. It could happen again here.
Yeah, and that's the part that sticks with me for Furia, right? Because this has happened already. You know, they were in a situation where they were looking really good on Pro. I mean, they were dominating. And obviously, you know, Lev is, we know, 6-0, great team on this map. But it really did feel like Furia just let that one kind of slip away from them until it got too late. And then at that point, Leviatán, well, they were just scrappy the whole way through.
That's the kind of game that's like burned into the back of your mind as you're falling asleep at night. You think of each one of those overtimes where you had an opportunity to close things out. So resetting for map 3 is going to be very important, especially because we're now going to Bind where there's like no idea what Leviatán's going to do. They have not showed it. But on the other hand, the mental recovery for LEV after map 1 is so impressive there.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, they looked so boomed after map 1. And honestly, in the beginning of this map, too, that first 8-4 half, there was so many 4v5s. It was one of the big talking points we were going to come out with if Furia just ended up closing out this match because they were so dominant in those situations. But as time went on, as they got rolling on that attacking side, things started to pick up. King started clutching. He started to really get excited when he was, you know, thinking really hard about what strats to call in overtime. And it was really an overall pickup from the entire team.
On top of that, he was incredible individually. He has now broken the kill record in VCT Americas. 35 kills, the most anyone in a single map.
Kill record broken, map record broken. Like, if you lose this game, Lev, that will suck. I'm just going to keep it a $150 with people. Because really, it's like you make this history, you scratch and claw your way, but now you find yourself, what are we going to Bind, I believe, is coming up next for the final decider. One, happy that we're even here to begin with. Those score lines, out of this world. You have a 13-5 stomp on Ascent, and then you go to a 2018 OT in Pearl, sure. And then we now go to Bind. I feel like for Leviatán Bala, there should be an opportunity for them to take that momentum, take that hype, take that passion that they felt coming out of Pearl, staying alive in this. They have to play it to their heart's content here.
Absolutely. I think the biggest strength here is that it has not been shown by them. And we've constantly been talking about how other teams know how Leviatán are going to play. They don't here. Furia have no footage of them. They have no way to know what the protocols are.
Do you think that we got a scrappy Leviatán at the end of the game? Would you prefer to see that Leviatán in map 2? You know, that was like kind of putting things together at the end?
You have to continue to have that because I need that hero play style coming out from King, coming out from Taco. If Taco wasn't playing like that, if he wasn't doing that, they wouldn't even be in this game at all. On that defensive side, he was starting to heat up, and then in overtime, he went crazy.
And you saw when they did go full structure, that's where Furia found the gaps. Think of how many of those retakes towards the B site were coming through, or towards that A site instead, where people are just pushing back into Secret, so willing to take those aggressive fights. You have to be willing to take risks against Furia, but you also now have the advantage of them not being able to prep against you, because we've talked a lot about Furia as being kind of two-pronged. They have good preset ideas and preparation for their opponent coming in, and then they can lean into the chaos, taking the individual risks at time as the games get deeper.
Yeah, I think the question you asked about Leviatán leaning into the scrap and whatnot is kind of different in this situation because they haven't played. But when I look at Furia, I think if they do get a scrappy game, that's when they continue to get energized. I think they had insane plays to even keep that game alive in overtime. That is more the Furia that I expect. That is more the Furia that I want to continue to see in the playoffs than anything else we saw in that game.
Now the question in Furia's mind and Coach Carlell's mind on your screen is, what is the composition that Leviatán is going to go for? We've seen teams return to the old default with the Sage Brimstone comps. We've seen the Harbor Viper a la NRG. And like Furia, we've seen a lot of teams try out the double duelist. There's quite a few answers to this map, and the meta's still kind of figuring itself out.
Yeah, I don't think any team really has, put, like we've seen on Ascent, like we've seen on Pearl, it hasn't solidified at all.
Well, and it's quite fascinating too, because obviously, when Bind was taken out, right? The game was at a certain point. It was what Chamber meta, I believe, was pretty profound, right? And then now Bind's coming back in. It does genuinely feel like a whole new world. And I was going to ask you and be like, hey, this Bind, we know Bind, right? But it really is just a kind of a crapshoot as far as like what we can end up seeing here and where it is.
We can't expect that Leviatán is going to go for something pretty standard. We've never seen, just crazy stuff out of them entirely. Almost every single one of their comps are very basic. So seeing Taco here move from Jet to Sage is kind of expected. That's what Artis is doing on NRG. But it also indicates to me that they're not going for the double duelist.
Yeah,
but who's going to play the Raze here for them?
It should be Nosworth. Yeah, it will be again. He's been incredible throughout Americas for this team, and struggled a little bit more on that Pearl. Still had his moments, so like to see that role. And this now brings up the question, is the rest of this comp just going to be Harbor Viper? This is the core that NRG brought. The Viper could mean it's a Brim comp or a Harbor comp. That's still up in the air, as Mizzino will be the one to lock in that second controller.
Yeah, they should go for Harbor Viper. They've been playing it on so many.
And they're really good at it.
They're very good at it on Pearl, but I think Pearl is a completely different map. So let's see what Mizzino, Mizzino's going to be the last to lock in. Did we even? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so Brim on the other side for Furia, and then Leviatán are going to go for their lock-in.
I think that running Harbor Viper would be good for them, because one of their biggest strengths is in their retakes, and what this comp can be really strong at is playing B retakes with the High Tide, with the Cove, and farming orbs into that Reckoning to use that as another tool. I think stylistically it makes sense, but what I'm looking at here is Taco's off that star roll. On the other side for Furia, it's double duelist, it's everyone being enabled. Here it's Nosworth who has the pressure as that sole duelist.
Yeah, and he has had some success on other maps. But what I'm looking here is that Harbor taking extra map control. That's the sort of thing I want Leviatán to lead into.
This is it. One map to decide which team is going to be moving on and facing off against Loud. Who's going to move forward here? Let's go ahead and send it over to Brendan Sideshow for the call.
Thank you very much, Des Crew. Yeah, let's get to it. All the way to the final map of Bind here. That's where we find ourselves with Leviatán versus Furia. Josh, Furia, no strangers to this map on Bind. No. Listen, a recent performance with 1917 lost to Sen. Yeah. So that's their most recent looking in. For LEV, a lot of unknowns in terms of how they're going to be playing this. Now we know the comp. More notably as well, Taco Lear taking a bit of a back seat. Maybe we were expecting potentially that double duelist to rear its head, but no, he's going to be playing the Sage here.
I really thought they would go with the double duelist and just end up mirroring what Furia had brought. That's what both teams do on Split most recently. But as you said, not going to be the case. And while it's NRG's composition, they're not running NRG's defensive pistol round by the look of things.
What? Punishment! Wow. In play. Double satchel movement is clean enough.
But that's the stim.
Yeah, stimmy as well, the extra speed boost all the way. And now we see a Trailblazer. Reclearance now into showers. Broken, just in time. Still, a timing to be taken with Mizzino. Slipping past the smoke, making sure that he can try and do some damage and take these fights into the back a bit. This way, that way. 48 health, low enough that a wallbang might do it. Dodging Duke, no way! What a beginning to the pistol round for LEV.
That is a great way for Mizzino to carry all of that momentum from map 2 into map 3.
Oh my goodness.
Remember what a shaky start Mizzino had out there on Pearl? And yet he was turning up towards the end in OT. And he's just done the same for them on the pistol. Mizzino's such an intelligent player with how he moves, blocking off certain angles. And careful. I mean, Ona's going to give himself like a burst blood vessel or something before they even play against Loud, potentially.
Passion is there, isn't it?
He's never been lacking that.
Yeah, he's never been lacking it.
So this is what you're going to see as a fairly regular setup for these teams. Although Mizzino is opting in both of these rounds for an early high tide towards short. rather than cascading showers.
Or with the judge. High face from King.
It's just going to be a shutdown here with the massive eco advantage
it really
that they have.
is.
But I am really interested in how Mazzino plays Harbor on this map. Som, he's been excellent at it. Really set the standard, I think, for everybody else.
His composition does seem very good. I mean, playing retakes into it with the Harbor walls.
Yeah.
In your face, slow to a crawl.
But even Som and the rest of NRG really struggled on their defense side against Furia. And I think this high tide that Mazzino's throwing at the start might be designed just to do that, to slow down Dejazine and MW. I am so interested, though, in how the Stim Beacon plays into this, because in theory, Dejazine and MW could get ridiculously aggressive.
Good info. But loose the wall of water.
30 seconds
Blocking
left.
them back with the slow orb on top of it. Nobody will be able to walk through that choke. Just a reposition here, and Furia hoping for some kills, maybe a plant, but I don't think they'll be so lucky in this circumstance.
Caution here.
Watch for. It's getting a little bit okay, strained, but no, okay. Easily done. Taka with
He
3.
full sprinted across.
Beautiful stuff. And he is on a bit more of a lesser role, you can argue as well, when you're playing a duelist taking those fights. Real uptick in his performance. I'll give you some sideline reporting, Josh. I was in the back halls in between these maps, and I was walking past the Furia players, and they were in disbelief. I don't speak much Portuguese, but I do know they were saying Taco Leah in disbelief and shaking their heads. I mean, his performance from map 1 to map 2 was just incredible in terms of how he stepped up.
That transcends language barriers.
It really does, yeah.
Chaos.
I felt fluent in that moment.
Nozra and King over towards Showers to start this round off. Throwing it all quickly, but not as quickly as MW takes this space.
Nade for a nade, wider. There's a swing taken.
Wow.
Nozra with 2. Spectre. Great start to try and convert the bonus.
He's got his nade back up.
What the?
And this is a disastrous beginning for Furia, a team that very easily could have 2-0'd this match so far and be sailing on for that Brazilian rivalry match.
Yeah, it could have been done. It was looking like it was potentially one of the faster series that we've seen, but LEV, they fought all the way back. Brought us to map number 3, and now a great beginning, although letting slip a little bit there. Information going not quite their way. It's a contact play from Khalil. He's worked his way up onto the site.
Down.
Doesn't know if Showers is clear, though. You can see the hesitancy. Lays down the molly, though. Should grant him a free plant, and I say should.
Planted. One enemy
But it is
remaining.
being converged on. Up to Dejazine now. Last one left. Does have the plant down. Got that going for him. They don't know where he is. He repositions. Isolates one of the fights. Smoke. Drop down. Used to cross away. And a tap onto the spike to try and bait it. Dejazine, he's playing this quite nicely. Looking to hunt for the kill. Looking to hunt for the fight. But Taco watches his teammates back. And so the bonus round is there. And yeah. Alternation there on the control key. Careful.
Okay. Taco. He plays one good map and he's feeling it already.
Yeah, he really is, yeah. This is a stellar beginning. I think, you know, LEV, we're not winning these pistol rounds until the latter half now of this series. They win this, they win the bonus as well. It's set themselves up very nicely.
It's marvelous. And the nade to begin does tons of damage and allows Nozra to pick up 2 with just the Spectre. Furia is still going to buy into this next round. That's the benefit of the light armor strategy that teams have adopted. And this is quick.
Oh yeah, the stimmy as well. Snake bite. Pulls the back foot as an updraft. In play. Jazine, hoping, hunting for a head. Not giving anyone. No easy targets. But a sight is theirs.
And they haven't cleared Hookah.
Toxin screen down.
Instead of opting to just smoke it off, looking to see if they can get that plant down. King's there. Doesn't opt to spam. Doesn't want to take the fight there. Lets him get the spike down. Resetting. No one's watching him! And King, he claims his prize. Multiple of them. 3 in a row. No time to reload. 5 bullets left in the rifle. Sticking the defuse. Mazzino, he knows he's got the safety. He knows his team's got his back.
What a massive error there from Furia. They had a game plan of going very quickly into B and using
The orbital strike, right?
the orbital strike for post-plant, and yet in the chaos of trying to actually execute their game plan, they lost track completely of what King was doing. This is not a clean fight he takes against Mazine. And the duelist duo of MW and Dejazine are gormless. I mean, just staring towards elbow. The comms maybe getting flustered in the moment. Or possibly Mazine just being too locked in to communicate.
Oh yeah, I mean, tunnel vision.
Who knows? Some level of massive comm slip-up happening there, though. And no reaction.
No reaction.
What a good time for a timeout, though. Carlisle will want to have some input there. Mistakes like that don't happen without some level of pressure and fluster.
Weight starting to get settled on Furia. These overtime scenarios, they haven't been good in them. They should have been able to close out this series in 2, but they've been brought here to this 3rd map, and it is not a good beginning for them. Have to be some adjustments.
We've heard from a lot of people with that coach or past player experience. You know, people like Sean on the desk, for example. It's quite easy to shrug off maps where you get blown out. But it is difficult when it's something like a 2018 loss that would have got you that first playoff win.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that keep you awake at night and have you still thinking about them and still having their emotional consequences in the next map or the next match. Shrugging that off and having a short-term memory is so important to being a competitor.
Blinded. Here.
Couple of rifles and stingers now and again. It's that tempo that's increased from Furia, the comp that they're playing. Trailblazer, no stun around the sides. Narrowly avoiding that one. Duel to be taken. Shy posted back up now onto this one, but he's in danger of being run and gunned. There's a play and attempt, yeah, a very wide swing. It offsets the aim enough that he gets a backup from the rest of his team. Reckoning, Mazine close inside the smoke, takes the fight and the battle right to King. Here and now to Dejazine. Amazing with the reset. The precision is there. He's landing kill after kill, and it's left just up to 2. There's a res in the back pocket along with a showstopper. But the position is known and noted and taken care of. Furia have got a complete lockdown on this entire site. Enough money in the back pocket for Taco to make a go of it. Gets the first, but time going to be his worst enemy.
And he spots MW, knows that the round is over at this point. A great response from Furia there. Just as we're talking about the potential for mental capitulation, they respond back with that. And it's all the mistakes that they made on their B hit rectified instantly.
Yeah, punishing King, who was just playing alone in hookah.
Right, and it's Mazine again, the same player that was taking the duel against him, who sneaks up into the smoke. And the aggression in elbow, it's the same game plan. It's exactly the same, just with a couple of twists. And making sure that they fill the gaps. And here's where Leviatán, if they don't start to mix up their defensive holds, Furia are going to get the read. You can see now that they already have a good understanding of what LEV are going to be doing on B defense.
Oh my, here we go, showstopper, and it lands. There's a mix-up for you.
I like it.
Towards short, and yeah, the advantage is theirs, but Furia are going to be doing their best now to try and wrangle back control of the round.
And they choose to go for that A short aggression in a round right after Furia have been successful on B. I mean, it's possible Furia would have just run the B strat again, but I think it's unlikely straight afterwards. Those are the choices where you have to, you know, pick and choose your timings to run those set plays wisely. And this one worked perfectly. The slow and the cascade, they're all so difficult to get through unless you do it right at the start of the round. Look at that, the layering of utility. It will run out at some point, though. Once this high tide goes down, they only have one more slow. See if Taco invests it.
Yeah, showstopper's going to be used. On both sides, will he be handed it? Right down at the feet, Mazino. Didn't stand a chance. Full damage, but an instant res, and now there needs to be a defense of the body. Nade cuts close to the back of Lamps. 27 seconds left. The spike needs to be planted here. Khalil low enough that can't walk into that snake bite. Pushes him away. Here's the second one to it.
Wow, these are coming from B, Brett.
All the way from across the map. It's that combined pressure that's being applied. Now the plan can start to be sticked though. The push attempt. A fight to be taken is traded. All the way around. Dejazine, he holds it. The ground. No one able to fight them towards Showers now, and he backs away. Dropping the smoke down on top of it. Nozwa. Jump spots, knows Khalil's position. But doesn't know where he could have gotten up to a 2 versus 3. The players are weak enough. It's winnable for LEV.
If
That's why
Nozwa
they
gets
choose
this
to play
kill,
together.
if Nozwa gets the kill, he has nade.
Yeah, kill found. Nozwa does get it. Nade online, but 60 health to it. Bounds it off. Right back to the side. It's a south flash. Into the nade!
Oh no, it landed on the left.
It bounced just into the wrong section. And it could have been a difference maker, but nevertheless, it's Furia. They swing it around their way.
Yeah, not just Furia, Brent, it's Dujazine. Not only on the B site, where he went and pushed into elbow and found so much success, but now here on A. Very patient play to ensure that the plant went down despite that long-range artillery pressure from King with his snake bites. And then once the plant is there, Dujazine goes from disciplined to active. And that's the fine line that Dujazine, a player that's that aggressive and talented, has to tread. Now here he is on the opposing side.
And it's punish again.
They are just never getting this wall off.
The timing is not being bought for it.
If MW tries to contest it with the stim. Of course they'll get it off if he's not there.
The wall is broken. One of the main advantages of having this Sage on the defense side is that you can control towards showers, place the wall down, remove one of those options.
In theory.
In theory, but Furia clearly well-versed of how to play against this composition.
Yeah, and again, the high tide that Mazzino is using in short, I think the same thing could be said if they decided to put the stim there. They might just barrel through that.
But they could disrespect it, for sure. The high tide, really, I mean, it does slow people down if you're walking through, but it doesn't slow satchels or dash.
Sure.
Well, here's the dog. Trailblazer. Info potentially spotted there towards bench. Yeah, it was on the minimap. That was notified. That was called out. Furia just dissecting portions of the map, taking the fights. It's so methodical.
Very nicely done by QCK in particular, who follows up all of Mazzin's utility. MW is allowed to go aggressive there. They're in a 5v2 situation. But after that early run of form from LEV, which was only a pistol round, a bonus, and a deconstruction of the B hit, so they won like 3 solid rounds to get them 4 on the board. After that, Furia have been dismantling what LEV have put together. Like the core game plan from Leviatán actually isn't working. The B defense doesn't seem good enough to stand up to Furia's fast B hits as long as they execute once they get to the site properly. Their showers play, they're not being able to get the wall down. And they can't hold short either.
Yeah,
I know Furia are behind right now, but it actually looks like their attack game plan is going to keep reaping rewards as we head further.
They will continue to build. There's just not an adjustment, it feels like, for LEV to slow this down. Timeout's going to be taken. But yeah, I mean, just attacker holding a close angle there. Jules being one. And that was
really well
methodical.
synergized.
Really methodical, the way that they were just piecing apart, taking apart the entirety of the site, every position.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that Leviatán will be looking to do on their attack side too, especially with the harbor. You know, going in and taking some short control, cascading out, flashing through it, seeing if you can get a pick. The attack side tends to be a bit more methodical, even if you're running an aggressive comp like Double Duelist. And Leviatán are going to take a timeout here. Like I said, they're in the lead, but even that seems like it's on the edge. And this is going to be a battle between those two IGLs. And I think for Furia, they've actually been very adaptive and loose over the course of this season. And once they get a read on what Leviatán are doing, they're going to try and counter it. You know, they're quite a free team. They can play towards your weaknesses, not necessarily your strengths. It is the opposite for Leviatán. They're going to try and stick to their game plan until pushed to the limit. And LEV hadn't had match practice with this map. It's got pros and it's got cons. It's more difficult to anti you. But also, you don't know whether your theoretical ideas are really going to work.
And you're testing it here in the first opening match of the playoffs.
A lot on the line.
Out of my way.
Certainly, stakes are set. That is a lot of spam. Taco wide of the jump swing, gets good information, but almost pays for it.
But he's holding here with the judge as well. It looks very difficult to root him out of this spot.
A lot of util could be used. I mean, they have an orbital strike. Do they opt to use it? Trailblazer Satchel as well. Oh my. And yeah, the orbital strike towards the backside of it. Nade though, rebounds. Enough damage done that MW will fall to it.
Very quick response from Nosworth. He saves the team there and keeps them in a 4v4. Meanwhile, King pushes out through showers. He got the orb down here early.
Oh, he's lurking. Being held though. The angle that he could peek, it's being held.
As long as King doesn't overflank.
Oh my goodness, no way! And that's just a game of chance. I can't believe that. It's just a game of chance. Whether they look this way, that way. Pure timing is what that hinged on.
How does QCK look away in the, I think, the very frame that King appears on screen?
No way.
You won't see a timing better than that, and King knows it.
Yeah. He didn't squander the opportunity.
I mean, it's, in my opinion, Brent, it's a bit too bold to even go for that, frankly. Like, you should be playing to contain in that situation and waiting for some kind of sound cue. But not only does he get away with it, he gets rewarded massively. And here he is again in showers, trying to keep back the hordes of Furia. Now, this is the setup that Furia ran last time, where they took showers early, went back to short, and had Dujazine lurk. It's a weird one, though, because Dujazine is lurking with an op.
And this off angle, sees it. Flash to punish. Shy can't get on the angle in time.
Meanwhile, Bren, Mazzino is in the teleporter.
Yeah, when did he get? I mean, okay.
How'd you get there, you cheeky little?
Yeah, he's going to be set up here for High Ties to cut across.
I mean, but also...
But he is also trapped in the teleporter.
And Taco's walled hookah.
Yeah, so he's got really nowhere to run. I mean, the wall will start to fade. There it is. It expires, and now the hit starts to come down. There's a stun. I mean, Taco's going to call any sort of punished attempts. They're going to pop out of the TP. That's the idea behind it, but it does give them that extra level of security. Yet still, it's QCK who's lurking into the back lines. The timing here that he takes could be everything.
QCK has been playing like this in a lot of their B hits. They're actually looking...
They're kind of watching for
long.
it. Spike's planted though. Oh, not looking.
Oh, the timing again.
And neither side is really certain of where players could be lurking. Cut its way across. Lurks on, lurks. Mazzino. He's going to be gifted a freebie. Yeah. There it is. And potentially the opener. The rest of his team flooding into the back of the site. Mazzine. Well done to get the two. QCK takes his timing, takes his lurk. Tap, tap, tap goes the rifles. And Furia find a footing in that one. It's getting a little bit scary though.
Definitely winnable for Leviatán, however. It was a strange strategy that they went for with Mazzino playing inside the TP. I don't think he's going to do that again. I mean, obviously it's a bit of a, you know, you only do it once in a half kind of strat, but now he's also got his Reckoning online, which is major for them in the B retake strats. I was also intrigued, QCK playing off-site despite his pit. So do they have an attacking setup with that? Are they going to maybe escort him towards showers? Here we're going to see the same clash again, except not stimmied up, no double blast pack this time.
No stim beacon. Oh, ball broken, sprayed. Hunting for the orb. Nosworth's got the showstopper. Wants to take the fight. It clips against something, doesn't get the kill. Damage done though, with Mazzine falling.
Meanwhile, pressure down short. Mazzino knows, as does Nosworth. They re-clear this spot.
Caution here.
Oh, the wall drops! Just at the wrong time for that. Dash now activated. What a kill and what a shot. Blocks it off. Will he clear the corner? The answer is yes, yet Mazzino still lands the shot. Reckoning. Thinks he's being punished. Taco's still in showers. It's crumbling. It's falling. Furia have got to grasp at anything they can. Wrists need to be there. The dog misses to the side. Khalil narrowly dodging it. But it's a 2 versus 3. Speaking of risks, look at where QCK is. A tap onto the spike. Looking, see if they can force and isolate a fight. Shy is aware of this.
The Furia players are never afraid to make plays like this when they're down.
30 seconds left.
Yep. Oh no! Absolutely incredible with the timing! And it's left into a 2v1.
And this is how they win! Player disadvantage situations so often because they're not afraid to gamble.
into the corner. King's there with the judge, vulnerable up. The shorty will put a stop to it.
Wow. Magical stuff. Really magical stuff there from Furia. Putting on a masterclass of how to turn disadvantaged situations around for your team. And that's the value that you're getting from Furia. When things go wrong for them at the beginning of the rounds, it's all audibles. It's all on the fly. Players trying to create off-brand, off-kilter timings for their opponents. Leviatán are planning something crazy here with the teleport by the look of things.
Yeah.
No, just sending the wall through it and then going down short. But they've been spotted.
As QCK is left to contain that push. Nade rebounding a satchel. The disengagement, they call it. Okay. Bit of a hard read. Here's the stimmy. Use that to reposition. Start taking up onto the side. Taco. Seeker in his face. Only with the Sheriff. He was hoping for a miracle. Not granted it. All the way through. Migration into the back. Not expecting there to be a play in there! Oh no! Missing the shots. And LEV, they're running them down. MW. Satchel out. Disengaged now. Backs away. Damage done. Spraying them down, and the guns aren't too good, but they do have a rifle. Hand that one to Nozwa. What can he do with it? Laser low. Trailblazer. Never jump spot. Could have got dangerous. Could have really got dangerous. Up top. Onto it. It's clean enough. There it is. Right through the box.
Leviatán got out to a hot start, didn't they, in this map? But since then, it's all been Furia. Either in decisive rounds or scrappy rounds. But Bren, I just want to point out once more how good Furia are in these 4v5 situations. We talked about them being the best in the league. Today, they've been winning over 40%. And that's including that insanely long game with 38 rounds that we saw on Pearl, where they were down so often. They're winning 40% of the time when they're down a player. And they win like 50% of the time when they're in a 5v5.
It's just insane.
It doesn't hurt them.
Yeah. You have no right winning when you're a player down.
Here's the push. Here's the gambit.
Over the top. There's an updraft on top of the wall. Backs himself down. Josine wants no part of it. That is the play, the risk, the gambit that is taken by LEV. Aggression towards B long. Jump spot. Oh, shy.
So dangerous.
Okay.
MW could accelerate at any point here. He has the showstopper available to him.
Slow orb. Push them back. Nade now down. Second slow orb used. Taco's got no more left. Here's the showstopper. Good movement. What? Doesn't get the kill. And there has to be reinforcements now. A crossfire setup is there, but can they win the gun duels? Smokes in their face. There's no clean fight to be taken. Orb to be picked up. They put a breather on the round.
Both raises disappeared from this. If Furia decide to hit the teleport with 30 seconds left, they'll be meeting Mazzino. What's the call? It looks like they are. QCK's grouping up. Is this to hit the TP or hit the site?
Wall was fading. I think that's the timing they're waiting for. They don't make any noise. They contact. But they're going to be wading into the stack all the way. Taco, first one to go down towards the back of the site. It's all up to King. And it's too much for him. The IGL, the leader. You can't put the push down.
10 seconds left.
Mazzino, last one left. It's round 12. Final chance. You got to put everything into it. Cove gets him into the site, but not for much longer. No more steps to be taken. 7-5. Furia looked sublime on their gun rounds.
Switching sides.
After Carlo took that timeout, right before the 5th round, they've just looked different since then. I think they were scrambling. They're probably still mentally in their heads about the OT and thinking, you know, generational trauma of the game against Sentinels on Bind as well, where it ended 17-19, not in their favor. But they have picked themselves back up and are playing wonderfully now.
Absolutely. Now, we spoke with Digizine about what he thinks his squad has been missing, so let's take a listen.
Where's the co-streamers?
They're not.
No meio do jogo, eu sinto que às vezes falta pouco disso na gente, de não ter tanto receio de jogar. Eu acho que a gente, às vezes, quando a gente pega uma situação boa, de vantagem, mesmo assim ela não é tão boa, dependendo de onde for, e a gente prefere guivar tudo para deixar os caras se posicionarem. Então, eu acredito que falta pouco mais de ousadia da gente, de, sei lá, jogar mais junto assim e conseguir, sei lá, defender bem, porque se a gente dá muito espaço para os caras, fica muito difícil a gente conseguir. Acho que é o nosso maior erro, porque, querendo ou não, a gente começa bastante mapas, até rounds na vantagem, então a gente vai givando aos pouquinhos e, pô, é tudo que o inimigo quer contar em desvantagem.
It's interesting from Digizine that he thinks his team, you know, listen, they got to capitalize more of the advantages, because I think they've been doing a good job of slowing it down in the mid-rounding when it gets some of these first picks as well, and taking these awkward timings, never really making it readable as to where they're hitting. But they've been firing, and they have not been lacking confidence. I mean, that's the one thing they haven't been this series.
No, not at all. I mean, they are a very bold team. They are a very bold team. And that's what makes them excellent at grasping hold of those opportunities, even when they're down players. But they're up here. It's 7-5. It feels like there's a lot riding on this pistol. It could either catapult Furia into a great advantageous spot to move on for that Brazilian rivalry and face Loud, or it'll bring us back dead even and set us up for potentially another ultra OT match on Bind. Which way is the coin gonna flip? I mean, both of these teams have been excellent at pistol rounds, depending on what read they have and the strats that they bring. Leviatán, of course, it's their first time playing this map this year with this roster. So, what are they going for? All stacked up towards short to start this one off.
And what is the play? Got to see more for them now. They really let slip a ton of those rounds when Furia had the best of reads against them.
I mean, if you look at the utility that LEV have bought, it looks like they want to go and take lamps control and then pivot into a plant using a lot of their Sage utility. Like something slow and cautious.
Oh, here we go. Oh, smoke drops down. It gives them the timing. They all face.
Well, that was different.
Yeah, bit of a core made, and off the back of that, Wall cuts its way through. It's a TP, an attempt to crunch, and it clears all the way through into showers. They now know nobody really waiting around there, but time has been bought for but a moment. Now the nade rebounds. So again, not a clean plan. It's actually missing.
Yeah, bad nade actually, but it still forces Taco off the plant and breaks a section of the wall.
It's attempting to try and get this down so they can get put into the post plan. Wall needs to be broken. Brutal piece of utility to chew through when you've only got pistols. They do break a portion of it. Now in lamps, this is an important fight. QCK close to the angle, right click. Why not? That'll do it. Stops around the gun. Drops and changes. Furia now looking to try and retake into this, but they're also damn low, pushing forwards. The frenzy. Nosra did not intend to get that, but he's eventually brought down. It's a pistol round for Furia. Potentially just the thing they needed, Josh, as well, like you said, to capitalize them, catapult them all the way to a great lead.
And the idea there is lovely from Leviatán too. That one's fresh, squeaky clean, never before seen in the playbook. Drop the wall, quad face, and then they have Nosra playing post plant, weirdly enough, with his satchel and nade. It's a nice idea, but Furia are such a good team at taking all the space that you give them for free. And when Leviatán play passive post plants like that, we saw it on Pearl too, Furia just gobble up the space without really using too much utility or time. Nobody from Furia close to any of the ultimates, despite winning the round.
It's looking like Furia will be able to get the 9th round to 9-5. Gotta be thinking how brutal it is for them. They fight all the way back on Pearl for a chance to bring it to this map number 3. Second half of Bind now, it just gets even harder. Top of the box.
Yeah, and I keep thinking back to the game where Furia played against NRG, when we got to see both of these teams go head-to-head, with NRG running the same comp that Leviatán are, and yet Furia, their attack side looked fantastic, their defense side, they just couldn't do a thing. They couldn't do anything. However, I just don't know whether Leviatán have got the same stock and pedigree on Bind as a team like NRG, a core like that, and a caller like Finesse. I mean, he has made this map look perfect for that core for so long.
It's going to take a lot. Already dug into the reserves just to bring it over the line on Pearl, and now it's Furia setting themselves up for an absolutely magnificent bonus round with 4 players surviving. The guns look good. They fixed Well, it seems like a lot of the problems as well at their defense side. They had a lot of tape to review.
They certainly did. And their defense side looked better the second time that they played it, right? So it's not like they're always going to be tragic there. And remember that this was the large gambit that Leviatán had coming into this game. They worked the map veto so that we would land here on Bind instead of another Haven or Ascent. Furia looking aggressive over towards Showers.
Yeah, taking up that Showers control. Dog. The Trailblazer clears it out, so Octagon clear.
And now reinforcements have to scramble towards Mazine.
Just from the back of that early pressure.
But they got Dajazine posted. His Marshall line is really strong over here.
It's really good.
Looking towards where Taco is facing.
Oh, he gets off of it? Okay, no, still holding it.
We saw this clash so often on Pearl.
Important to win if Taco wants to take the fight, and he does. Great target, great accuracy. With Taco falling. Backs away, Dajazine doesn't overstay his welcome in Showers. Rejoining the rest of his team. He's got to get a feel now for how this one's going. He's just on top of that little box, the new addition to Bind. Gives him that angle. Already, it's King who's worked his way past it, creeping and crawling.
King is so deep, but he's not being offered anything just yet. And he's out in the middle of no man's land.
Wide. Wants to take the fight to them. It's MW. Instantly responds, sprays it down with the Bulldog, and Shy falls on top of it. Furia. Looking like a grand entry now into the second half of Bind. 2 players left standing. It's Mazzino and Noswa. Showstopper. It's meant to be that extra element to try and set them up here. And it just cuts across that crosshair placement. They all drop just like that. Okay. Guys, rebuy armor.
What a way for Furia to announce himself on the defense side. That was some excellent shooting with the Marshall and the Bulldog in that round. And you see from Leviatán's side, when they're in a 4v5, there's not really any coordination in terms of King making the play. He just decides, I need to take that responsibility upon myself. Walks down short using his own Viper setup and asks for one piece of utility, just the nade. And that was it, that's the whole play.
Yeah.
It lacks the finesse of the stuff that Furia have been showing us in their player disadvantage spots. And now knocked down to light armor stingers. Maybe this will be fast and pacey, but Furia have 3 here.
And for Lev, it's on them to make the most of it. We're 10-5. All things considered, it should be set up for 11-5. Another satchel. Oh my goodness, it resorts to this. The run and gun. Bit of run and fun. Certainly is for Shy. Wins that one. Cascade in the face of Mazine. Popped up. Good angles to take there. Together, Lev.
Good pushing.
Yeah. Making sure that they were taking fights.
Spike planted.
Together with the spike down. In that post plan.
And this response has been immediate.
Tucked to the corner. The rifle handed over to Taco. And Dajazine. No choice but to back away. So, said there needed to be something from Leviatán there. There certainly was.
That one's so different to the way that Lev have approached the rest of their attack rounds. Just sending it into hookah. Nosra and Shy working together. Oh, here we go.
No! Oh, no! Misses the shot. Get out of there! Wants to save the operator. But he is being hunted close to the corner. Can't react to it. Can't hit the shot. A thrifty for Leviatán. Exactly what they needed. It looked like Furia were running away with it. I mean, you just look at the string of rounds, despite the that one round on 8, where King was able to get a 4K by catching a timing. This otherwise would have just been sheer dominance. There needed to be an answer. There needed to be something to battle back.
And this was it.
Enemy remaining.
Stinger's pushed up. I'm not even sure how Nosra got the first one. He was so fast in there off the Sky utility and managed to get a kill with his Stinger instantly. Maybe that incentivizes King to call an increase in the tempo. Wave crashing. Not for this round.
Yeah, angles held with the op.
Just watching the Trailblazer dancing around there in Showers as Dajazine missed a jump peek. Nosra has Showstopper, here it comes.
Here it is, Rocket over the top. Always risky. Fires it off, lets it loose, but active with the dash. Dajazine's able to get out of there, but it's a fast plant. Mazino not being pushed off this High Tide's there on top of it, and
the fast plant means that there is going to be so much time already ticked down before MW and Mazina are even anywhere near. They're in market currently.
And they're just using that Trailblazer to clear all the way through.
And they have to use the Trailblazer and make noise and give away their flank because they need to be quick.
Made into Lamb's flash around the corner. No connection. A wide swing. MW, gotta be careful. Almost satching himself there into the TP, holding on top of the bench. Furia! Oh my goodness! The way they're taking these fights is all together. It's perfect. Time was running short. All the pressure was applied to them, and yet somehow they come out on top.
Massive, massive error there for Leviatán. I mean, they have a crossfire setup that goes from lamps over to bench, and they can't get anything out of it. It's the same thing that's been working perfectly from Furia, though. Aggression and confidence. They're barreling forwards and running over Leviatán. The defenses are falling everywhere. Furia have so much confidence in those kind of disadvantaged situations. They send it straight in. And this might be the same thing from Leviatán. This is their setup that they used on that eco round, the Thrifty.
Furia not feeling knocked, are they? Despite losing that map 2 in the fashion that they did. The Drazini's close, disrespect shown. It's a reckoning at his feet. Updraft, trying to evade capture from the opposition. Leviatán already swarming onto the position. The flash is there by, oh my God! MW! Reactions, precision. And Mazino says, to hell with that, I'm pulling out the shorty. No quick gunplay and precision from him. Still, it's a 2-on-2. Shy gets the plant down.
I've got your
Some in that post plant. Seekers spots it. Drazin has to take the fight there. Shots not landing for Mazino. Shy.
He was too late on the trade.
He was too late, and he's crouched up, waiting, seeing if somebody will grant him a free kill in a 1v2. And he doesn't know. Time was cut. So was Sound. Waiting for any sort of chance, but it's just contact from Furia. Flash connects. Round to the side, it's dodged by Digizine, and the reactions are just amazing.
Furia are destined to win this game if their players are hitting stuff like that. First of all, how aggressively they fight. There's a reckoning in their face, and there's still 3 players spamming it into Octagon.
Could never be favored.
Fighting, challenging, not giving it a moment of room. And the fact that MW gets 2 there, I have no idea.
The presence of mind in this moment. They don't overplay their hand. They wait it out. They realize they've got plenty of time. They play together. Deny everything from Shy, and they find themselves on map point, on series point. Opening match of the playoffs, and there's going to be a clash immediately. Operator, again for Digizine. And so many targets to choose from. He's punished a jump spot. Nosa's been doing that all day long. MW holding his back, and it's a sheer crumble. Leviatán, nothing to gain, everything to lose. Gliding to the side, into the molly, brought down by his teammates. But it's a 1v3, and this map is all but over. In just a moment, Nosra with so much over the top, clean movement, stunned up. How does that connect? A tap onto it, enough noise made, he's evacuating, he's out of there.
He's done it. He's actually slipped the net here. QCK overflanked towards short. Worried about what Nosra could do.
I'm being stuck. Head on a swivel, doesn't know where anyone is, but a footstep made by Mazine, and maybe he could salvage it. Can he keep Lev in it?
Surely not.
Comes down to this fight. A furious discipline, a wide face! Doesn't reset it in time! He can land the shot! And it's Furia! We'll be singing the praise of this team all day long. The adjustments were magnificent. And they've come into the playoffs, here to stay.
Furia secure their spot in that Brazilian rivalry. They take on Loud for a spot in Tokyo and a guaranteed spot at Champions later on in the year. That's what they've won, the right to challenge our #1 seed. And Leviatán, they will live to fight another day. Of course, double elimination, but they do slip down and those chances decrease. My, they showed some tenacity today to even pull this one through to bind. But they were outclassed in map 1 and map 3. And what a master class it was from Dujazine and MW there on bind. Some of the stuff that they did to take over was sublime.
Yeah, I mean, it was more than locked in. They were straight up transcending at periods. With some of the aim and reactions. Furia are victors here, the opening match of the playoffs. 2-1 being that scoreline, but well deserved. Amazing game plans, correcting the mistakes.
And I think there's a lot of rounds where Leviatán will be looking back and thinking, how did we throw this away? How were we up players and end up losing so frequently?
Yeah.
But I think that's just credit to Furia. There's no other team in the league currently, even the absolute best, that convert their player disadvantaged situations as well, or look even as creative in these moments. The approach completely changes for Furia as soon as they lose somebody. It's no longer sticking to the game plan. It's improv.
Yeah, it's agile.
And it's so good.
Being able to find those openings and just, honestly, rip away the chances of LEV. I mean, there were so many moments where it felt like LEV should have been securing up some of these rounds, but the game plan, the players individually, everything was coming together. And they were not dissuaded by that second map. They came into bind, looking on fire.
Again, winning over 40% of their player disadvantage situations in this match, sorry. And you can point the finger at their opponents as much as you like, but at this point there is such a resounding pattern that this team, in a similar way to Cloud9 winning their ecos, this team has just figured something out. Absolutely. The Magic Panthers, I mean, they were pulling out some magic today.
Turning their way deeper now into the playoffs, like you said, Josh, setting up that matchup against their Brazilian rivalry. We'll see just where they take this one. Day of celebrations.
Furia have always had that little bro spot in Brazil. They've always been the second team to Loud. And we thought that Furia were going to be able to have some level of challenge to that later on.
We said a day of celebrations. He's looking at him. You can tell it was coming. We were taking so long sending it back. Furia with the win. Happy birthday to you, Sideshow, as well. We got you a cake. We got you some plates to eat as well. We'll take it, I think, as well. We'll send it down to the desk. An important update, nevertheless. Yeah, listen, a fantastic day. And it's not over just yet, of course. One more match yet to be played today. Let's send it down to GB and the desk. Congratulations.
Lovely cake.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Josh, and I hope you share that cake, you bum. Anyway.
Birthday, man. You can't say that.
I can say whatever I want. I'm the host, damn it. Hello, welcome back, everyone. Of course, we just witnessed, you know what? 2-0. Right? I mean, you said it. Yeah. I kind of felt like that. It was a bit of a heartbreaker, Mimi, to see Leviatán lose the way that they did, especially after what happened on Pearl. It felt as if this was going to be that rejuvenating moment that LEV desperately needed.
It seemed like it would be after the start of map number 2, where it was like something like 4 rounds in a row off of winning that bonus. They looked great. But really, if you ignore the second map, this was just like 2 clean maps from Furia where they just looked incredible. It was the scrappiness, the 4v5s to get them into this. And then the second half, Furia, I think, just executed well on their ideas. The double duelists on the comp on the attacking side, when these players are feeling it, it's just so hard to stop. And I think we saw Leviatán run into the same issues that NRG did, where you're kind of getting caught off with util in hands and you just can't handle the pace.
Yeah, I just blocked Pearl out of my map. It's just 4 p.m. somehow. I don't know why, but it's such a good sign to see Furia go out on bind, or come out on bind on that attack side too, and do really, really well. Or, excuse me, on the defense, because they struggled so hard in their last 2 matches against NRG and against 100 Thieves on that side. So to see them have a really, really nice defensive hold against Leviatán here is just such a good sign going into the future. It maybe is starting to patch up some of those doubts that people had about this team.
And to remember it again for a moment, thinking back after losing, what a heartbreak map number 2 was. Being able to rally so quickly into this one, win that 1 round, act as catalyst, and then just look dominant past that is quite impressive for a team that really has been struggling this season. They've had a lot of maps like that, where it's been like an 11-13, an overtime loss like versus Sentinels, and after that they've just looked really, really just not up to the quality that we expected from them. But here they take a stumble and instantly pick themselves up.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that it's safe to say for Furia, this is the pace that they want to continue on, especially you have Loud on the horizon, and this is an opportunity for them to really shock the world. But for now, though, let's go ahead and send it over to the stage because you have Doug, who's actually going to be standing by with MW Zera for the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. Yeah, I'm hanging out with Aldi as well, who's going to help us with the translation. I want to instantly talk to you about this series. Now, you played this team week 2, and the outcome was the same. It was 2-1, but I want to get your thoughts on what was different as you prepared for this series. What was different from them that you saw? What were the differences in the 2 times you guys have met?
Então, vocês jogaram contra o Leviatán na segunda semana, né? Qual foi a diferença para essa semana? Qual foi a diferença para você especificamente e também para o time? O que mudou? Qual foi o planejamento para esse segundo?
Eu acho que a diferença da segunda semana para essa agora é que dessa semana a gente tinha um pouco mais de conteúdo deles, né? Porque a gente pegou ele bem no começo do campeonato, então não tinha muita coisa deles, então agora a gente tinha um pouco mais de informação, a gente conseguiu fazer um antitático bom até na Ascent, na Bind a gente não tinha nada, mas na Pure a gente conseguiu impor bastante coisas. Mas eu acho que em relação à preparação foi mais isso, foi um pouco mais fácil de fazer um antitático, se adaptar melhor assim durante o jogo contra eles agora.
The main difference was the first time we didn't have a lot of information on Leviatán, but after these few weeks, we could learn more about them and how they play, which helped us a lot on Pearl. So that was the main difference.
I have two more questions for you, and then I'll let you go. You guys went through an emotional roller coaster on Pro. You were up, you were down. It was setting the record for the longest VCT Americas match. How did you guys stay in it when Leviatán had you on map point, 4, 5 times? How'd you stay in it? How'd you stay competitive in that?
Como é que foi Pearl? Porque vocês estavam ganhando e tinham aí 4 ou 5 rounds de vantagem. Leviatán conseguiu encostar e levar o round. Como é que vocês conseguem ficar assim no jogo depois disso?
Pra ser sincero, mano, é uma merda, né? Desculpa até a palavra. Porque na primeira vez que a gente jogou contra eles, na segunda semana, a gente também abriu 9-3 contra eles e a gente tomou a virada. E aconteceu isso de novo. Acho que o ataque deles é muito forte nesse mapa. Acho que quando chega no overtime ali é mais coração mesmo. Round no coração, round na vontade. A gente foi até o nosso limite ali que a gente podia fazer no mapa, mas a gente vai melhorar, a gente tem que melhorar nosso lado de defesa na Pure, que a gente tá pecando bastante, e é isso. Acho que é triste.
So yeah, it's pretty bad. Let's put it this way. It's pretty bad when we are in this situation and it's hard to come back from it. But you know, like the first game, they also it was also a 2-1. But you know, you just go for it and you put, you know, with heart, with intent to try to bring back.
Last question I have for you, and then I'll let you go celebrate the win. You've got Loud up next, who people are talking is the best team in the world, second best team in the world. What does preparation look like, knowing that you're so close to qualifying for Tokyo?
Então, próximo desafio é com o Loud, o segundo melhor time do mundo hoje. Como é que tá a preparação para isso, sabendo que só falta esse passo para vocês classificarem para o Japão?
Cara, a gente, principalmente brasileiro, respeita muito a Loud, assim. A gente tem um respeito bem grande por eles, por tudo que eles fizeram. Mas a gente vai dar tudo. A gente sabe como jogar contra eles, apesar de ser difícil. A gente sabe que eles são bem confiantes. Mas a gente vai dar o máximo, a gente vai entrar com muita confiança, com muita atitude também. E é isso, vamos dar o nosso máximo aí. Eu acho que vai ser um bom jogo.
We have a lot of respect for Loud, both Brazilians, so we have a lot of respect for them. We know that they're very good and they have a lot of confidence. So we're gonna bring the same confidence for the game, and let's go for it. I believe it's gonna be a very good game.
That's all that's all the fans want. That's all we want. So best of luck to you in that series. That's going to do it for this one. But folks, we've got another banger just on the other side of this break. It's EG, NRG. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's the end of the season, and you know what that means. Playoff time, baby, because we have 10 teams that started the season with the same dream. Make it to Masters Tokyo, make it to Champions Los Angeles, and now that dream can become a reality.
give it a hot drop up. King at this angle with 3 kills. Daz lighting up every single player. Dajazine moving down to the side. No way! And 2 kills collected. There, shot lands though. Dajazine on it. Quick scope! Pure prediction. And Furia strolling away. A jaunt in the park is what map 1 feels like. They take it. Just together, one after the other, but a crossfire is down. Shy look like asleep at a wheel for fun. A moment. Khalil still alive. 3 for it.
One enemy remaining. My ultimate is ready.
Snake bite, pushing him back. This is Eni Niederlander, Shot King. He reigns supreme. Half all the way, just needs to watch the angle shot. Operator, Taco, close. Oh my! What a read! Round to the side, they're gonna swing wide. Lev, they stick it through. Lev, pull it off. The spike down, resetting. No one's watching him! And King, he claims his prize. Oh my goodness, no way! And that's just a game of chance. Could have got dangerous. Could have really got dangerous. Up top, onto it. And it's Furia. We'll be singing the praise of this team all day long. The adjustments were magnificent. They've come into the playoffs, here to stay.